Yes, welcome back to the show, people. Hope you're well. Do us a favor, hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. We have passed 40k and we're on the road to 50k. Thank you all so much for your support on this channel and, of course, on my channel, Football's 12th Man, as well. Both the channels flying. So thank you so much. And it's thanks to you guys. So thank you all so much for coming and showing the support and the love. We're going to be talking about Aston Villa tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the game, the team news, the expected lineups. We're going to go through some of the comments that Mikel Arteta has made in his press conference. And we're also going to be talking about the transfer window that apparently is open, Lee Judges, but you wouldn't know it if you're a gooner, mate. Apparently it's open and the window's, able to be doing stuff, but we're not. How are you, mate?
Yeah, all good. Working away, apparently. They're working away, so, but yeah, all good. What will be, when it, I know people that are on it every day and looking at it, and I get that, but yeah, I just think you just got to chill out at this moment in time. Listen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If Arsenal don't sign anybody, that front three is not good enough to get us to the top four, let alone a title. So there's your answer. So they do the business or they don't.
Well, look, let's touch on the game tomorrow first, then we'll come into that because there has been some comments made about the transfer window today, and that's Arteta's had his press conference, so we'll go through a little bit of that. Look, we've titled this, do you think we've got enough up front to beat Villa? Because, well, we can't. That's all we got, Lee. We got to put that together and try and make it work at the moment until we decide to get reinforcements in, bruv. So my question to you is, we create enough, in my opinion. We actually do. We create enough to win the game. Might not create enough to win by 4 or 5 goals, but we definitely create enough chances to win games. I think that's been proven with stats. And well, not that I'm a fan of stats, but you know what I mean. But what we haven't got someone who put it back in the net. And Havertz is not that guy. It doesn't look like Trossard's going to be able to get consistent goals. Neither does it look like Martinelli or Sterling can add to that in levels of consistency. So does that now mean that when we get to the stage where we, at the moment, can't add because we ain't got anything with it, that they need to improve? Arteta needs to find a way. Are you looking more at the individuals? How are you looking at this for improvement? Because we've got to improve. We've got to get it in the back of the net, mate.
I don't know if we can. Look, listen, we're going tomorrow. I'm going tomorrow. Pay a lot for my season ticket. Just but hope. Nothing else. That's all I'm going with tomorrow. Hope we can get enough goals to win the game. Hope we can defend well enough to cover over our deficiencies. That's how I look at it at this moment in time, Got away with it against Tottenham because Tottenham are a poor team. Let's be honest, but Aston Villa are not a poor team. I don't know how we're going to get through in this Champions League game in the next couple of games. I think we will do because I don't think the opposition are great. But if you're taking on one of the top boys in Europe, we're in trouble. But listen, you need a little bit of luck in football. I think if you look back on the game on Wednesday, as good as what we were in patches and all that, relied on a little bit of luck, a bit of misfortune for them that the corner isn't given. It is for us, a little bit of fortune, and also a little bit of fortune with the goal as well. But we missed chance after chance after chance. Now, I think if you keep giving Odegaard those chances, he's good enough player to finish them. Sterling also, I think if you give him enough game time, maybe he'll get the chances, Trossard done well. Be interesting to see what the team will be tomorrow because Martinelli's got to come back in somewhere along the line, but we'll have to wait and see. And we need bodies back as well, Dan. We need Wanyeri back as soon as possible, but that's not going to be for another couple of weeks. I understand Ben White's back in training, but you're probably looking at another week or so for him. Is that going to improve our goal scoring? No, but it will improve our set-piece plays and things like that. So it'll be really interesting tomorrow what they do. For me, I may even think about, I don't know if you like giving Martinelli to go down the centre tomorrow instead of on the right, maybe play Havertz on the right or Sterling. That's what I would do. Give Martinelli a chance up there. We need to do something different, something out of the box to see if we can get the game won. Fear for tomorrow. I said all along we beat Tottenham because I don't think Tottenham are great, but I fear this one, and I fear it because they've got players that can hurt us, and they ain't going to be stupid and play kamikaze football when they're 1-0 up or draw in the game. You know, if it needs to go long, they will go long. If they need to go over the press, they go over the press. And they've got players in their midfield that can hurt us with their passing range, and power running. So it'll be interesting to see what we do. And also, one thing that worries me is that this is on the back end now of the end of the week. We played Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, so it's 3 games in 6 days. I looked at Saliba in particular on Wednesday. He looked out of his feet. He just looked like he'd physically gone. He was struggling, like cramping up. Got to ask him to go again. Then you got to ask him to go on Wednesday, and you're asking these forwards to run around and do what they can do. Havertz looks like a player out of form. Not out of form. Well, yeah, out of form, but out of confidence as well. You know, you have 2 opportunities of open goals, and he passes them up to put in a player's passing. Now that's fair enough. But if you look at that, and you're thinking, wow, you know, you're second in the league, and you got your top goal scorer preferring to pass than shooting an empty goal himself. So there is worries, Dan. There is worries. You know, Wednesday weren't the time to worry about them, but I've looked back at the game and, well, we play some bloody good stuff. We do. We still play some good football, but there are a lot of concerns in what we do from a front three. That front three is just not good enough. Unless they hit form of unbelievable heights, Sterling can come back to the Sterling was with Liverpool and Man City, not the Sterling at Chelsea. Havertz hits the form of last season. And Martinelli and Trossard produced performances of 2 seasons ago for Martinelli, 1 season ago for Trossard. And we'll see what happens. But I fear for the game. It's going to be a tough game tomorrow. And I also think the atmosphere in the Emirates will be decided by what happens at West London as well. Like, you know, if Brentford gets something, I do think that will energise the crowd a little bit more. You know, so I'll be looking at that game very, very much before I go into the ground. I don't know about you, but that's what I'll be doing. But let's see where it goes. If you have a look at their next few games, Liverpool, all winnable. I think they've got Brentford, Ipswich, and let me think, Bournemouth are their next 3 games. Not easy, but not difficult. Our next 3 games: Aston Villa, Wolves away, Manchester City at home.
Yeah, difficult.
Tough.
Difficult. Tough. If I'm honest, and just don't feel very, very confident about this one. I did against Spurs quietly confident. I did say that we would draw the game, but I had more of a feeling that we could take 3 points than this one, just because of how they. Well, I just think Villa are better than Tottenham, if I'm honest with you. Look, we ain't got many options, have we? There's not really much we can do, this team. I mean, I've put together what I would like to see. I've obviously gone with a 4-2-3-1. I think it will be a 4-3-3 as we always play, but this is what I would like to see happen. And I would let Trossard go through the middle and Martinelli on the left, and I'd switch it throughout each of the game, put Martinelli through the centre, then Trossard comes out, let them share it a bit. I think we need to take Havertz out the firing line, mate, if I'm honest. I think we need to utilise him as a sub. I think he needs to come on now and potentially look to change the game, different dimension, cause a bit of havoc and nuisance, get himself in the aerial positions and put himself about a bit as he always does. But I'm happy for him to do that in the last sort of 25 half hour. I think Sterling has to play on the right, if I'm honest. I don't think we've got any other options. I don't want Havertz playing out there. So I think it has to be Sterling. I don't think it will be. I think what the team will be, I think he'll play Martinelli on the right, Trossard on the left, and Havertz through the middle. That's what I think he will do. And then Ødegaard, Partey, Rice in the back line. Lewis Skelly obviously deserves to be there. And I think the rest of the team really picks itself, if I'm honest with you. But look, just concentrate on the front line. Let's bring them all into play. Sterling, Havertz, Trossard, Martinelli. At the moment, if there's one running on goal and you had to put money on them, who would you pick? Because I would pick Trossard, because I do still think he's the best finisher at the club.
Yeah, probably I would go Trossard.
And that's why I want to play him through the middle, Lee, because if we do get a chance where we can break and Martinelli can get his pace or Sterling can get his pace, you want someone who's the killer in the box. It's a little bit like at the moment, if Liverpool have everyone fit, they play Jota through the middle, don't they? Because he's the best finisher. I feel like Trossard's got to be that guy. And I know we spent a lot of money on Havertz. It ain't worked out, I don't think. Anyway, not for It's worked out as a squad player. He ain't worked out as a first team player for me. But I think Sterling, if you're going to drop him, I think Trossard needs to go through the middle. But I think he'll stick with Havertz because he loves him, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's not. I just think that maybe Havertz suits the style of play as well, Dan. You know what I mean? It gives us different, gives us a little bit of physicality, like, you know, and I get that. You know, that's why we need someone else in that position at this moment in time. Like, I feel that, yeah, I thought Odegaard done really well, but like his performances, the only reason he's been in the side at the moment is because we've got no one else. But his performance was good on Wednesday. I think it's the same with Havertz. I don't think that, you know, Trossard, we've played him in that front role before and it's not worked. You know, I don't know. I think that for me, I'd like to see maybe like Martinelli go there, but I don't think that will happen either. I think that he'll get the tried and trusted. I think that I think maybe like Sterling will be left out of this one. I think like, but Sterling needs to play. But I've looked back at his performance; it weren't very good then. You know,
well, look, I don't think he's been outstanding in the last couple, but I certainly don't think he's been one of the worst players on the pitch.
No.
But I think they're all like that at the moment, Lee. I honestly do. I don't think any of them are shining. I mean, I look at Martinelli with the ball; he's running through. I think this is an amazing run, and he don't want to pull the trigger. You know, Odegaard.
Well, it was a great run. What was he doing?
And he's got to pull the trigger. Odegaard's got to score. Sterling's got to do better. We've got to look at Havertz missing from 2 and 1 yards. It ain't just one of them, you know. In the chat, why would you drop our top scorer? Are you dense? I got in the chat. Mate, he's not scoring now. I don't care if he's our top scorer. I need to look at who's putting it in the back of the net now. And it ain't working. We've got to change it. We can't just keep it how it is. We've got to try different things. And then, you know, I was told we're looking at internal solutions. What are the internal solutions? I don't see any of them. I don't see any internal solutions whatsoever, Lee.
No, I don't. I get that what they're saying. Havertz is the top scorer, and you know, can you keep faith in him? But if he's not scoring from 1 yard and 2 yards, and then when he's got open goals, or not open goals, but it's easier for him to score, and he's passing it up to pass, I'm not so sure that's great. I think his confidence looks shot on but then I'll give him credit for that. He's still putting himself in the firing line and putting his body in there. Like, but you know, I'm with you. Listen, if you hadn't have a couple of options, he wouldn't be playing then. As simple as that. His performance, he doesn't deserve to be playing with the performances he's done over the last 3 or 4 games. But you know, if he is playing, I'm going to back him. Of course, you got to, like, you know what I mean. But I think he got tremendous support from the Arsenal fans on Wednesday. It didn't do him no good. Performance still wasn't up to any good. So, but you know, is dropping him going to give him the confidence down? I think we've got to try and get him back to where he was last season. I don't know how we're going to do that. Maybe a goal will help, like, you know what I mean? Maybe I don't know. I really don't know. I think that you know, something's got to change up there. I looked at that game on Wednesday, you know, and we've had to rely on a set piece, and I'm not knocking that. It's fantastic we got the set piece, but if we don't get that set piece, we don't win that game, you know. And we're looking like we're going to have to get another set piece tomorrow to win the game. We ain't going to get no more than 2 goals a game at this moment in time, so that's putting a lot of pressure on us defensively. And hopefully that'll be enough to get us through the games at this moment in time. But you know, I'm a little bit fed up with Mikel, even in the press conference. We're working beyond. Well, how long is it going to take? How long is it going to take? You know, was it going to be right up to the last minute? You know what I mean? We've got like difficult game here, and then we've got Wolves next week, and then the window's closed. So, what, you're gambling on these 2 games, Aston Villa and Wolves? Yeah, if you get the 6 points in these games, fantastic. But I'm sorry, if you go to that team, that forward line against Man City is not going to beat Man City. It's not going to be good enough to go to Anfield and win. That's my problem.
I agree, bruv. I agree. And look, let's read out what he said here on whether we can challenge for the title without new signings. He said, at the moment, we don't have them. We're actively trying to find the best possible solution, but we'll have to wait and see what we can do. I mean, how long are we going to have to wait to see what we can do? This should have been sorted out in Christmas if we wanted. On the
Yeah.
profile of player we're looking for, that's not something I'm going to discuss. Obviously, we've lost 2 massive players for us in the front line and we need some support there. So that's him saying we need to go and sign someone. On contracts expiring, he says with certain situations, if contracts expiring, we can renew those contracts like we have done in the past. Always actively evolving the squad and understanding what the players want to do when they finish our contract together. We have to be prepared. Well, prepared is not something I need to be hearing because we aren't prepared. We have not prepared well enough. If this is us looking prepared, we haven't prepared well enough in the summer and we haven't prepared well enough in the winter, because in the Christmas period, we should have been deciding who we're going for. And in the whole of the pre-season, we should have been looking who we're going for. We did neither of that. We've just been leaving it. Honestly, it's so annoying. It really is so annoying when we see that. So, yeah, I'm just... Saliba's apparently out now as well, I'm being told. Is that true, Mark? Apparently in the chat they're saying he's out. So we're missing
Well,
Saliba.
he was struggling. He was struggling the other night. I don't know if it was a hamstring or he had cramp. One of the two. I don't think it was hamstring because he carried on running around. But so it's probably like tightening of the hamstring, cramp or whatever. So he's very, very close to being rested and everything like that. Probably just try and keep him going until Ben White or Tomiyasu come back, So it'd be interesting where we go there with a
I haven't seen him, to be honest. I haven't seen him in training pictures. He's not in any of them. So maybe that is right. And it's been broken. It's true. It's a hamstring, apparently. Oh, dear me. Unbelievable. Billy, good evening to you, mate. I hope you're well, Bill. I hope that you lose tomorrow and we beat you. That's all I'm going to say. Big up to you, though, bro. I hope you're well. Look, Lee, Aston Villa. Let's touch on it quick. Good side. Unai Emery, good manager. John Duran and Watkins know where the ball is. They got know how to put the ball in the back of it. They know where the goal is, I should say. They got a balanced midfield. I actually think their midfield is stacked as well, by the way. You look at Barkley and Tielemans and Buendia. Some of these guys aren't even getting on. Kamara. They've got Onana. They've got Morgan Rogers, Jacob Ramsey. Good team, Villa, judges.
Very good team. Very good team. I think they've been a little bit found out because of the number of games they've had and Champions League and everything like that, I'll be honest. But they've, on their day, they're as good as anybody. I was impressed with them against West Ham, the way they come back into that game. It looked like West Ham were going to beat them at one stage, but then they turned it around. So, so for me, I think that, this should be a big test for us. I look at the training ground, because Saliba wasn't training. That doesn't mean to say he's not, and he's out of the game. Sometimes a little bit of recovery, but I did see him struggling a little bit towards the end of the game on Wednesday. So listen, if you struggle a little bit, sometimes you can just have a little rest. And look, this training sessions that they're doing today are just a stretching sort of session, nothing major. It's a day training session before the game. So, if you can get an extra day's rest and he doesn't need to work on his fitness. So it might be just give him an extra bit of rest, maybe even working in the gym. I don't know. But it did seem...
All it says is here, Saliba's a concern for tomorrow after feeling his hamstring versus Spurs. Though he finished the game, he's had a heavy workload due to White and Tomiyasu injuries. It says a concern for tomorrow is Saliba. Not sure if people saw on TV, he pulled up and started feeling his hamstring. Although he did manage to finish the game, which was positive, he's been playing a lot this season due to injuries. So maybe they're just giving him till last minute.
Yeah. No point in him training today. You just give him some rest, a bit more recovery time. But at the end of the day, he needs a rest. You know what I mean? Don't forget, people forget, played 120 minutes on Sunday. He's played another 90 minutes, intense game there. And you've got to do it again in 6 days. So, there are obviously concerns about that. And this is where the likes of Tomiyasu, not so much Ben White, have let us down, because Tomiyasu could have broken that workload up, could have played against Man United. So he didn't have to play the full 120 minutes in that game. So this is the problem that we've got, but listen, I think that, if he's going to be out, you've got a week off in a couple of weeks' time. So I'd rather him not play and just see him through to that break so that he can genuinely be rested, because we don't want him getting an hamstring injury and we don't want him getting injured. and being out long term. So if it's short term injury, then I'll do it But I would say that the chances are that he will play, and they're just giving him that extra bit of rest at this moment in time.
Yeah. I mean, who are the threats for you tomorrow when it comes to Villa? Because I'm looking at their front line, Duran and Watkins, and thinking we need to keep them quiet. And if it is going to be Saliba out, that could be tough, mate.
Yeah, keep them quiet. I think that the two midfield players are problems for us as well in Morgan, Rodgers and Tillemans. Tillemans been playing very, very well this season. Got a couple of injuries themselves. McGinn's out, always causes a few problems. Dogged sort of a player. And they've got Barkley out as well. So they're not being able to have to rotate their midfield players as well. And they're in the same position as us playing their third game in 6 days as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Yeah. Well, no, I think didn't Villa played Friday, didn't they? So they've had Yeah, so they've had an extra couple of days in between them, so they're in a better position and all that. But they haven't been able to rest as much. So Morgan Rodgers, I think, will be a problem running from deep. One thing I do think that we're a little bit weak on is with Partey is out of possession. Teams can run at us. So it'd be interesting what the midfield be. I think one of them would be left out today anyway. I think it'll be Rice, Marino. I think will come in for this game. For me, you know what I
mean? Yeah, look, I mean, I just really hope that we get a situation where Villa have an off day. Look, last season they beat us home and away, but we did go to their place, put in a professional performance to get across the line, and we won 2-0. I will say, though, Watkins should have put them 2-0 up in the first. If you remember, he missed 2 absolute sitters, really. I mean, I know Raya got the credit for the second save, but the first one, he just completely missed the whole target. So it could have been very different there. I don't know if Billy is saying are these the guys you're saying that are out, Bill? Or are these the guys that it's going to be coming in? I don't know what you mean by that. If Martinez, Cash, Konza and Dean are injured, I'll take that. I didn't know Memi Martinez was injured. Did you? Is he out?
He's been struggling a little bit for the last couple of games. So, I don't know. I wouldn't imagine that he would be out. I'm not sure, you know what I mean? So,
Matty Cash, I'm not too fussed about. But obviously, Konza's a good centre-half. And Luca Dean has got a great delivery on him. But yeah, if they're out, then... I mean, that fills me with a little bit of confidence at the back line because their goalkeeper is awful. That Olsen geezer. He is not a good goalkeeper.
Well, we said that about the Man United goalkeeper and look what happened.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, we have, to be fair. We have. But yeah. Oh, there we go. Sorry. I've got that wrong then. So apparently that is the back line. So this is going to be the starting 11, apparently, according to Billy. Big up to Billy. Emi Martinez, Cash, Konza, Mings, and Luca Dean. Kamara, Onana, Rodgers, Ramsey, Tielemans, and Watkins. So Duran will be on the bench. He don't like playing Duran and Watkins, does he, Emery? I don't know why he don't like doing that.
Well, because of the system, and that's why I think there's a little bit of a problem there, and that's why I think that Duran could be got at. You know what I mean? Like now, if Arsenal want that, you know what I mean. But I'd rather have Duran than nothing. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a lot of money, isn't he? He's going to cost like 80 or 90 million pounds, I reckon, now, which is mad, really, when you think he's actually only scored.
Well, they're not going to sell him cheap, are they? They're not going to sell him cheap when they know that teams want him. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. It's mad that he nearly went for 40 in the summer. He actually genuinely nearly went for 40 million. That would have been.
They're not exactly happy-go-lucky with him, are they? Like, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. Yeah. Look, it's a good side, though, still. I think we can get at that, though. Konza and Mings is not a centre-half partnership that I worry too much about, but they certainly won't be too worried about our front line at the moment. That's a good midfield, though. Kamara and Onana are solid. Rodgers is superb. Ramsey, I've been a fan of. Tielemans has been wonderful this year. You know, we could have had him on a free transfer league. I wanted that signing, Tielemans.
Yeah.
Fantastic
I remember that, like, you know what I mean? So, with Tielemans, like, you know, I can't believe that we didn't get him, like, you know what I mean? I'm just going to have to break for a second, Dan, because I've just got to answer the door. You carry on.
You do that, mate. No problem. While we're on that, right, this starting 11, real talk, how many of these players get into the Arsenal first team right now? I think you'd be surprised. I think there'd be a lot more than people want to admit. Because that 11, like, I know there's some of them you wouldn't take, but Martinez and Raya, I don't think there's anything in it. I really don't. People will say they want Raya because they're Gooners. A lot of people say they want Emi Martinez because he's World Cup winner and he was at Arsenal. I've never thought we should have got rid of him. I've always preferred Martinez as a goalkeeper. I'm taking Timber over Cash, and I'm taking Gabriel and Saliba over Konza and Mings. I'm definitely going to be taking, when fit, I suppose Ben White and Timber would be your two fullbacks, but Dean at the moment probably gets in. Kamara and Anana, I'm going to have Partey and Rice over them two. And then I'd have Odegaard over Jacob Ramsey. Rodgers, Tielemans and Watkins all get into our team at the moment. It's crazy. Like, they've actually got some really good players, Aston Villa. They've got a really good squad as well, to be fair. I really like this Rodgers as well, Lee. I mean, last time we played him, he walks through our midfield. Do you remember?
Oh, he was magnificent. He was magnificent. I've never been to a game before when I've been looking up on trying to get on a phone who he was. That's how impressed I was with him. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his. Like, you know, he is the player that Arsenal could desperately need. When you want to, you know, when you say about an 8, he is the one. That sort of player, box to box, powerful, takes players on so he can beat the blocks that probably Aston Villa don't have so much to deal with, but when they will have it to deal with, he can do that, and he can open up things by going past players, you know. So I think he's just the last few games tiring a little bit, you know what I mean. Had a lot of games, there's a big unit as well, but I'm a big fan of his, like, you know what I mean. Not very many people impressed me after just one game, but he did. I just thought, wow, that is some player. Can't believe he's not had more England opportunities. And I think, you know, I mean, you know, Aston Villa done really well. Listen, he's been on their radar for a while because he is a Birmingham. I think he was at West Brom before he went to Man City, if I'm not for. And then the other thing is, Dan, you know what I mean, don't take this Championship lightly, you know what I mean. I watch a lot of Championship football. I'm not saying that Arsenal should be signing players from there or whatever, but blah blah blah. But don't you know, diss it like, you know, we're going to the other leagues to, you know, to sign players. There's some good players in that Championship, and that's where he sort of made his name at Middlesbrough, you know, Rodgers. And you know, so listen, I think he's a good player. It'd be really interesting to see how they play tomorrow. Not been that great away from home, Dan. Funny enough, been very, very difficult to beat at home. I actually watched them disintegrate against Spurs. So there you go. So they have got weaknesses in their lines. You know what I mean? So we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, just quickly, when you went to the one to the door debating who would they rather have in goal, Raya or Martinez? Who would you rather have? Emi Martinez back or David Raya?
I think I wouldn't. If I'm an Aston Villa fan, I'm not swapping, and if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm not swapping. I wouldn't have said that a little while ago.
Good way to answer that question, yeah.
You know, I mean, Martinez is, I think, is probably the best goalkeeper in the league over the last 2-3 years. He's up there. And over a 2-3 year period, you'd probably take Martinez. But this season, I wouldn't swap Raya for anybody. I think I think even going back to the North London derby, he didn't have a lot to do, but what he did, he done magnificently well. Crosses, I thought he was superb on, and then made a couple of vital saves. And probably Martinez probably sneaks it on penalties. There you go.
Love that, man. Look, I would pick Martinez. I think he's absolute top quality. Which is why he's won the World Cup, and what he's doing at Villa is ridiculous. I think him and Alisson are the two of the better goalkeepers with Ederson in the league. I agree with you. And I think that when we sold him, it was a massive, massive mistake. And I remember saying at the time, what the hell did we do that for? And then sell Leno for $3 million to Fulham the year after. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Poor business that was. That was a business decision, wasn't it? Like, you know what I mean? That's a key. That was not done for footballing reasons. It was not. It was not,
mate. No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, they owe us one. They owe us a favour back, Villa.
Yeah, they do, man. Hopefully they'll give us Duran back or one of the other guy, Rogers or something. But nah, listen, they're a good side. I don't expect Aston Villa to be selling their players. I don't think they're in a position where they need to at the moment. So, put themselves in a strong position, mate. So let's see what they do. Make sure you hit the like, people. Make sure you subscribe and make sure, if you've not done so already, that you are coming next Friday, a week away, to the Hippodrome Casino, Friday the 24th of January. You will be able to meet myself. You'll be able to meet Lee Judges. You'll be able to meet This Is London panel. And you'll be able to meet Sophie Nicolau from Highbury Squad as well. It'll be great to see you all there. Meet and greet. We're going to put a show on for you all. Please make sure you scan the QR code and get your ticket, because it is a ticket-only entry. So please make sure that you do that, please, people. And we will see you next week if you are all up for it. I'm sure a lot of you have been buying your tickets at the moment. I've not been looking at how many people are coming so far. Sam's doing all that. So hopefully we'll get as many of you there as possible. Scan the QR code and follow the link to the description. And we will see you all there, people. I look forward to that one. Look, Judges, let's talk a little bit about some of the transfer news before we do kind of come to a bit of a close. Look, there's a lot of talk at the moment about a centre forward. I think Mikel Arteta has made it quite clear that he wants a centre forward. What did make it quite interesting for me as well is that Declan Rice was making comments about having to play Tierney as at left wing due to our injury problems. Now, what worries me about that, right? If Declan Rice is coming out making comments and Arteta is as well, that would suggest to me that the Cronkies aren't too keen to put their hand in their pocket again. Now, I'm not saying that is the case, but it would probably be that it is the case, as opposed to, oh, well, we're going to make something happen. I've got confidence in my board and my ownership. They're not going to leave me in the doo-doo. And it just worries me that they've come out with with those comments. However, today there has been some news, or yesterday and today, around Benjamin Sesko. Sam C says that Arsenal have been in talks with him. They want to sign him on loan with a deal of an option to buy or obligation to buy. Arteta's already spoke to the player on numerous occasions. There's more that's coming out over the last couple of days about him being interested in Arsenal. Gunner Blogger suggesting that he's the one that we want. I know last summer we looked to try and get him, and it looked like he'd formed some form of gentleman's agreement that he was going to stay at Leipzig and then look to go and have a chat in the summer. But we want him in January, mate. You see this one happening?
Yeah, I can see. Well, something's got to happen, and I think there's probably like a thing of it, like, oh, I'll stay another season and all that. Like, but if if you're the Leipzig, you're not going to say a loan. You know what I mean? They're going to want to get somebody in, like,
Why are we going for a loan? Why can't we just sign him? I don't get.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with rules and PR. I don't know. Whatever it is, like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe, I don't know. Just see what happens. Like, so can't see it being a loan. You know what I mean? I can see it being a loan with, like, you've got to buy, like, not just like
Raya, like David Raya type thing. Yeah,
that sort of thing. Like, yeah, like a David Raya signing. That, you know what I mean? Like that sort of signing. Yeah, I can see that happening. Sort of a deal, like, we know why we had to do that, and it was never really a loan deal, even though it was a loan deal. But like, so I think that may be the answer for it, like,
Would they excite you enough? Let's go, or
well, not really, because he's a good player and all that, but he's raw. He's not the finished article, like, you know what I mean? I think we'd all like a finished article like 24, 25. I think Vlahovic is probably better down the line with that, but potentially, he could be the real deal. You know what I mean? In a few years' time. Listen, I'll take it. I'll take him. I'll take any of them at this moment in time. Like, you know what I mean? So, hopefully it will do. But I do understand that there's a little bit raw where Gyökeres and Vlahovic are more developed. We'll have to wait and see. But I think the player that they want Sesko long term, not just short term as well. Maybe the other two, or maybe Vlahovic is more short term. I don't know.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see where they go, what route they go down with this. It'd be very interesting.
I'm not excited by Benjamin Sesko. Doesn't mean I don't want him.
I get that. I get that.
Cheap, but I don't think Sesko's the guy that can take us across the line. I look at his goals. I think they're no better than what Kai Havertz has got. Doesn't mean he's not going to be as good or better than Kai Havertz. Of course, you got to see what it does. But I think he's definitely got talent. He's raw talent. But I want someone who's ready now. I don't think he is ready now. And I think that if we was to get him or Gyökeres, you've got to go for Gyökeres. He's absolutely killing it. He's 26. He's ready. Is he the best of his game? He's scoring goals left, right, and centre. He's on fire. He's across Europe, one of the top scorers. That's the sort of signing we should be getting for 84 million. Not trying to get a loan with a buy for this guy, which is probably going to cost 50 to 60 million. I just don't really see that this is the one we should be going, the route we should be going down. For whatever reason, they don't want Gyökeres or he doesn't want Arsenal. He's not been linked at all. And I know people have said, "Oh, he's one of the players we're talking about."
That's a great point. Maybe we have spoke to him, Dan, and he don't want to come. I don't know. That's a great point. We don't know. You know what I mean? So we're just going to have to wait and see. It's and just be patient for a week or so. I think that's the only way we can look at it. Like, you know what I mean? But you know, it is ridiculous because this should have been done ages ago. Like, you know what I mean?
100%, mate. It really should have. It really should have. Look, there's rumours today about Kieran Tierney again. It looks as if he's going to be off to Celtic. Apparently, it just says from Fabrizio Romano that Kieran Tierney is joining Celtic soon. He's close to joining Celtic. Do we just get rid of him? Did you think we might keep him until the summer now because we're struggling with players? He's been coming on as a sub for the last couple of games.
Yeah, listen, I would keep him to the end of the summer, like, you know what I mean. But you know, I think he wants to play football, and if he's got opportunity to play football, you know, how can you deny him it? You know what I mean? So, listen, if they want him and he wants to go, then good luck to him. That is my motto in that. Like, you know, I'd like to keep him, but he's not going to play regular with Arsenal, is he? He might play 1 or 2 games. Do what he's doing at the moment, but I think he deserves better than that.
I agree. I think he does. I'm a big fan of him, as you know, and I do look at players like that and just wonder what would have been if we would have actually tried to utilise him as a left back that overlaps, because I think that's exactly what we needed to fling some balls in the box to Havertz. But what do I know? What do I know? Looks like he's off skis, and do you know what? Fair play to him. You know, he needs to go and go and play, in my opinion. Look, there's other rumours as well. I don't know what I'd be interested to get your thoughts on this one, to be honest with you, Lee. Apparently, according to reports from Sam J. Dean, Arsenal were among the clubs who were interested in signing the Norwegian teenager Nypan, 18 years old. Telegraph suggests that Rosenberg are reported to want around £10 million, and the suggestions are that the decision on the player's future will be made in the coming weeks. Is this something to interest you, mate?
Yeah, long term, I think it is. It's good, like, you know what I mean, to get young players. You know what I mean? I remember we done it with Ramsey, didn't we, a few years back, and bringing in some young talent. You know, so listen, and you know, 18 now ain't young, is it? Like, we've got 18-year-olds starring for us now. Like, you know, Tottenham's best 2 players were 18 years of age. So why not? If he's that much of a talent, you know, and can do the job, then get him in. Yeah, why not?
Look, I'm happy with him coming in alongside others. I don't want him to be the star, though. Do you know what I mean?
Of course not. We've got Zubimendi coming in as well. Don't forget that. That looks like
that's tied up, that's happening.
So like that would be a good, you know, Zubimendi and him as well. That would be good. Like, you know what I mean? And one can come in and be part of the squad and, you know, play in the lesser cup of games and things like that. Yeah, why not? And also gives us more legs going around the team as well. Like, you know, I think that's something that we need to improve on, I think.
Yeah. Where do you see that Zubimendi thing? Because obviously Zubimendi's coming in as a 6. Where does that leave our midfield for you? Like, do you think that it'll be Zubimendi in the 6, Rice in the 8, and then Odegaard?
Yeah, I do see it as that, and then that's got legs all around then. You know what I mean? Like, I watched Thomas Partey on Wednesdays. He's fantastic on the ball and all that. But there was a couple of occasions that their Spurs midfield players, because they're a little bit younger and all that, they was allowed to run from box to box. You know, so I think with the legs that we've got there, we can engage them. I think that Rice will share the role. I think that there's, you know, he can do different things, you know, when you want to give Zubimendi a break or even Declan Rice. But I think that, I think that'll be it there. I think Marino in there. But we need one more. So maybe that's where they're going to get a youngster in there when Yeri can then cover Odegaard and also other positions. Marino can be a backup, which, you know, I don't think that's a bad thing in being a backup. And that's quite a strong midfield going forward, like for for the future, Dan. So I don't see a problem there.
You think Partey and Jorginho will both sign, both be sold, one sign, one go?
I'd keep Partey for another year, but I think like Jorginho's been very much a big part player for the last couple of years. He'll want to go and play regular towards the end of his career, and I think that maybe Partey would like to stay at Arsenal, but not as a backup. And I'm afraid that that's where he's going to be for him. But so he might decide that he wants to go somewhere else, and I wouldn't blame him for that. So yeah, if we could persuade him to sign a new contract, brilliant. But it doesn't seem like we're hell bent on helping him out with a contract, does it? Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but yeah, maybe he don't want to be a backup. I understand that.
No, I do. I understand it. Look, let's touch on the league very quickly before we do come to a close, because you've mentioned Liverpool playing, obviously Brentford away. Tough place to go. You know, we struggled there. I know we did win, but we struggled. It wasn't an easy win. The second half was really good, but the first half was a bit dire, if I'm honest. So they can cause some problems. They've just caused an upset against Manchester City after being 2-0 down. They managed to get a point there. Do you see, first of all, anything happening there at all with Brentford? Do you think they can take something?
Yeah, I do. I think that Brentford could get something there. The only thing going for Liverpool is it might have took a lot out of them on Wednesday playing and then doing it again on the Saturday. But I don't, I think Liverpool will win, if I'll be really honest. But it wouldn't surprise me if they did drop points.
No, it wouldn't surprise me if they drop points either, to be fair, because they're a tough side, Brentford. But I just think Liverpool are going through that moment at the moment where they're just getting across the line, getting what they need, and even a point, to be fair, it wouldn't mean like, oh my God, it'd be brilliant. Don't get me wrong. But it wouldn't be like, right, they're crumbling. I still think they're doing enough, sort of thing. And I don't know about you. I was going to ask you this to close. There's 17 games left, right? We've got to say that they're going to beat Everton. I think they will. I hope they don't, but I think they will. That's 7 points. So let's just say they beat Everton. They are 7 points, right? I know we always go by points on the board, but I imagine they're going to beat Everton because they're poor. So that's 7 points, right? That means that they have to drop 3 games, Liverpool, right? They've got to lose 2 and draw 1, or they've got to lose 3 games, whatever it be. But Arsenal got to win the rest of them. I think Arsenal are going to drop another 3 games before now until the end of the season. Do you think Liverpool dropped 6 in 17 games?
No, I don't think they dropped 6, but I do think that they'll draw a few. I don't think this is a give me going to Everton away. I don't think it's a give me for us, by the way. I think they've got to go to Manchester City, Aston Villa, and also us as well. We've got to go there. So we want it to be that when we go to Everton, to Liverpool, that we might have to win that game to win the league or whatever. That's what we've got to get to, I think someone Ahmed says that they've got to go to Chelsea as well. So they've got some tough games, but these are the games that win your leagues. Brentford away, Nottingham Forest away. They picked up a draw there. Another little draw, be nice. All of a sudden, we can get it down to 2 points, say, for instance, and then overtake them before they play their next game, just to put a bit of pressure on, Listen, no one thought Chelsea would. I looked at when Chelsea beat Spurs. That was the day we played Fulham. I thought, well, they're going to go on a run now, and they're the favourites to challenge Liverpool, and they haven't won since. And you look at the 5 games that they've played, you would have backed them to win every single one of them, Dan. So Liverpool can go on a bit of a run. I weren't that impressed with them against Tottenham. I know it was only the League Cup, but I wasn't impressed with them. Could have actually lost by more against a real poor Spurs side. People will say, oh, they can win that game. The greatest thing for us is that they can't. They've got to go big and strong against Tottenham. So they won't be resting too many players in that, and then see what happens. So. Keep the faith. But unfortunately, at this moment in time, I think Liverpool could drop 6, 7 games this time around. But they still get over the line because Arsenal will drop 6 or 7 at this moment in time with the front three. So it's as simple as that. Arsenal got to buy players. And at this moment in time, I love what Slot said today. Like, not worried about Arsenal, whether he is or whether he ain't. Says it as it is, and we shouldn't be worried about Liverpool at the minute. We've got to keep making sure our house is properly dressed, and hopefully that is what we can do.
All right, then last question then before we close. Villa, Wolves, City. How many points?
I think we'll take 6 or 7.
Okay.
Liverpool will probably the same, and that but that ain't good enough. Somewhere we've got to produce. I think we might drop points tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we drop points tomorrow through them being a better team than Tottenham, and also maybe a bit of jadedness, a bit of tiredness has crept in. But if we can get over this game, who knows? If Arsenal can get 9 points from their next 3 games, that's very, very difficult. That'll put us in a very, very good position.
Yeah, I don't think we'll take in 9. We're going to take between 5 and 7, I think. We're going to drop, aren't we? We're going to drop in the next 3 somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe it's City. We've got to beat Wolves. That's no excuses. We can't go out. We can't be dropping points to them. Not when they're in a relegation. We can't go and drop points to any of those teams. It's just not acceptable as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about you, Lee. We can't
they've got to go. I expect a tough game, but I expect us to beat Wolves. Liverpool got to go at Bournemouth. Not easy.
Yeah, listen, there's 2 games there, Brentford and Bournemouth. They're
games that you look at and think, well, we should win them, but they're tough games.
But what I'm kind of looking at is, and I've said this all along, I agree with Slot. I'm not really looking too much at Liverpool. I'm trying to get us going on a run. And because if we don't go on a run, it don't matter what Liverpool do.
Exactly that.
You know what I mean? They could lose to Brentford and Bournemouth, and then we lose to Villa and we draw to Wolves. Well, we've gained a point. That's not good enough, is it? So, you know what I mean? That's where we're at, bruv. And this is why it gets frustrating. So I'm looking at it that way. Look, there's a couple of super chats to do before we do close. This one comes in from Cliff. It says, Trossard left wing, Martinelli through the middle, Raheem on the right. Have a go. Yeah, I could agree with that.
I'm not against that. I am not against that.
No. Oregon Goon says, don't we really need 2 strikers, 2 central midfielders and 2 wingers?
Ideally, yes.
That would be lovely.
That
would be. I don't think that's going to happen. But I get your point. I think we need a 6, an 8, a 10, a left, a right, and a striker. And that is 6 players. I've counted that up right. So, yeah, I think there is a problem with our backup and our squad in the front line. I think that's what you're trying to get at, Oregon going. So big up to you, mate. Listen, judges, we're going to leave it there. Before we do, please make sure that you guys, again, are signed up for this. It's a great opportunity to meet you guys. So please make sure you scan the QR code on screen and follow the instructions to get your ticket, because it's a ticket-only event. And it's next Friday. We haven't got long, people. So it'd be good to see you all in person. We see so many of you in the chat. So please make sure that you do come say hello. It'd be great to meet you face to face. Lead judges will be here. Myself, we've got Don, D, Deji, Dan Lawless from the This Is London crew. We've got Sophie Nicolau as well. So please make sure that you get there. There's a great opportunity to win some amazing prizes on the night as well. So we're really looking forward to putting on a show for you guys. So please make sure you come and attend. Listen, Lee, I'll let you say goodbye and have the last word, mate.
Yeah, listen, have a fantastic weekend. Let's hope Liverpool do drop some points and we win. But most of all, wrap up. It's getting a little bit colder. Have a great weekend.